Good morning, Xolemates, and welcome to the Xolemates Academy. I made this channel because I have been missing the tutorials, and I really like where my main channel Xole is at right now with more of the kind of filmic, creative content. So this channel, I will now just be posting so many tutorials. They're going to be a lot more raw, a lot more uncut. I also just have a dream of having some of y'all on this channel to make some of your own tutorials. It's going to be a really cool kind of Xolemates collective channel, which I'm really looking forward to just kicking this off. So this video is just going to be a simple how to make a bedroom pop beat from scratch. A lot of y'all are probably laughing right now because those were my go-to videos on my Xole channel. Those are really what kicked off the channel. So I thought it'd be nice just to kind of have a full circle moment. And we're going to be making a bedroom pop beat from scratch in Ableton 11. You can follow along with whatever Ableton you use, and let's just get right into it. All right, here we have Ableton. Hello, Ableton. It's great to see you as always. And first and foremost, I just want to let y'all know, music is a completely subjective art form. I think any art, for that matter, is completely subjective. So, you know, this isn't a you should follow everything I say in this video. I'm just going to give you how I would make a simple bedroom pop beat in Ableton, and you can follow along if you want to. I've been producing music for close to 10 years now, and I learned that my kind of method for making a beat is splitting it into 5 different parts. Chords are usually step 1. That is going to determine the vibe of your song. And then melody, just adding some simple little melody on top of it to give some character to the track. And then drums. Drums are vital, very important. It makes your beat sound like a beat. And then bass is also very important. That's going to kind of give the groove, give the body of the track. And then last but not least is just the sauce. That's just all these little instruments and audio effects and characteristics that you can give your beat to make it have a little bit of variance. So let's go ahead and start off with number 1, which is chords. So I'm going to right click and insert a MIDI track, and we're just going to hop right into this. So let's highlight 4 bars, and we're going to do Command-Shift-M, create a MIDI selection, and this is going to allow us to add some keys. I'm also going to do Command-L to loop it, and let's just go over to our instruments and choose a simple instrument. Bedroom pop usually has some dreamy chords, so let's go to the pianos. I kind of like this, little Rhodes. So if you don't know keys very well, Ableton has the scale feature, which you can just click this. Now we have C major. And now all of the purple highlighted keys are keys that you should be using. Let's go ahead and do F sharp major. Let's have a little fun here. Now we're going to go to the F sharp. That's going to be the one. That's going to be kind of the home chord. That's going to be the bass. So let's do a little 3. A good trick to learn when making chords, if you have the scale feature on, you're going to place a note, you're going to skip a note in the key, you're going to place another note, skip a note in the key, and place another note. And that is either going to create a major or minor chord depending on the root of the key. In this case, it is A sharp, and that is the 3rd key in the scale, and that is going to be a minor chord. So we're going to highlight all of this, and we're going to drag it out. That's sick. I like that. Now we're just going to do Command-D and duplicate it. It's going to make it a lot easier. And let's do a 3, maybe let's try a 3-5. So let's move this back into the scale. I like where this is going. Let's maybe go into a 4 now. So just bringing it 1 down. Okay, I don't like that. Let's maybe try to go into a 6 here, though. I like how that sounds, but it's a little bit too high. So let's highlight this note and do Shift down to move it down an octave. So it's still the same note. It's still making the same chord, but now it's inverted. Okay, that does not sound good. And it's as simple as that. We now have a chord progression. We are doing a 3, 5, 2, 1. So in the key of F sharp major, that is a 3 minor, 5 major, 2 minor, 1 major. I like that a lot, but it's very simple. The chords are all starting on the root. So like I said earlier, let's make some inverted chords, and let's try to keep them all in the same area around this A sharp to E sharp range, and that's going to make it sound a little bit more realistic. So let's move this down. This is fine right here, but on this one chord, let's move this up. So now all of the notes are kind of in the same ballpark, and they're going to sound a little bit better. I like that a lot. Now, I'm going to move this back up because another tip for bedroom pop indie music is to use some sevenths and some ninths. Now, that might be a little bit confusing. What is a seventh and a ninth? All it really is take the last note of that chord and just do the same method where it's skip one, place one. So let's skip one and let's place one. There we go. Now all of our chords have 4 notes instead of 3, and that's just going to make it a little bit more interesting. Except for that. So let's go ahead and delete that one and move this back down. Congratulations, you can give yourself a pat on the back. You have completed step 1 for making a simple bedroom pop beat, and that is making some chords. Now, a really fun thing to do, once you have your chords and you've been playing around with one instrument, you can now change the instrument very quickly and see if you like a new vibe. Don't like that? Don't like that? I think we found our new instrument. That is, wow, childhood home piano. I have never used this. That is a goated instrument. All right, Soulmates, I just wanted to stop in here real quick and shout out the sponsor of this video. I'm just kidding. There are no sponsors. This is my first YouTube channel on this channel, but the sponsor is me asking you to hit that subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. Let's get this channel blown up. Let's just have this be the place to learn how to make music, learn how to make art, inspire creativity. I'm so excited for this channel. So if you could hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. The like one also really helps out. And yeah, that's a word from our sponsor. Just like we instantly changed the instrument and found something that we liked better, we could also instantly change the octave of these chords by doing Command A, selecting all the notes, and then Shift down, moving them down an octave. Let's hear how it sounds a little bit lower. I like that much better, a lot lower, a lot softer, a lot smoother. Now we are also going to make these chords a little bit more lively by doing Command A, making them all just a little bit shorter, and then I'm going to right click and turn the grid off. So now these notes are not going to be snapping in place like they usually do. And I'm just going to go in, and when you play chords on a piano, you don't hit them all at the same time. You're not a robot. You hit them all at varying times. So we're going to be doing that with these chords. Usually you want your bass note to be the first one pressed. So let's do a little bit of this. Much better. I love that. Now let's do Command A and let's make them just a little bit longer so they kind of touch each other. I'm enjoying these chords a little bit too much. I could listen to this all day, but we need to make a full beat. We can't just make a little 4-bar loop. So let's go ahead and duplicate this out. This is just going to give us a little idea of how we want to arrange this song. Now, a fun thing you can do in Ableton is go up here to this little time grid, and you can right-click and add a locator. So we're going to right-click, and we're going to call this intro. And I want just 4 bars of intro, and then it's going to get into the first verse right here. Now you're asking yourself, how long should we make this first verse be? Well, a good trick you can do if you're arranging your beat is just to, mumble over it, sing over it, act like you're the artist who's going to use the beat. Silent. Little did she know she was breaking sweaters. Every time we go. So I was originally thinking, let's just do 8 bars and then we'll go into the chorus. But since I sang over it, I realized I think a vocalist is going to want a little bit longer. So let's do 16 instead, and let's make this the chorus right here. Now, a lot of producers will usually just loop one section and add as many tracks as they can and just add so many layers in this one loop, really filling up this one loop, and then they arrange at the very end. but I usually suggest people to just lay out the song and don't make the beat in a loop. That's just going to make it way easier for you to make a full sounding song instead of just a little looped beat. This is actually a tip that Fizo and I go over in our SoundLodge lecture 1A. Y'all can go check it out. It is just jam-packed with so many tips on how to turn beat ideas into full songs. It is on our Patreon. But let's go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back because we have chords, and that's something to celebrate. Now let's move on to step 2, which I said was melody. So let's add just a little simple sound and melody on top of these chords, and let's have it enter in the first verse. Command-Shift-M, bada bing, bada boom. A thing to remember when you're making a melody in a beat is never overshine the vocalist. The main melody in a song is the vocalist. The vocalist is going to have the prominent melody. They are going to be spotlighted on the track. So if you make a melody very loud and very spotlighted in your beat, it's going to be hard for the vocalist to outshine that melody. So usually when you make a melody, make it very simple and push it to the background. So let's go ahead and do that. The way I usually make melodies is I just kind of close my eyes and I'm like, what do I hear on top of these chords? Something like that. Let's maybe go back to, I don't know, I really like this instrument, so let's just go ahead and use this. But what was I hearing there? There it is. There we go. I like this melody. It's pretty simple, but I do think it still has the power to overshine the vocalist. So we're going to be employing a few techniques to push it to the back. But before we do that, as you can tell, this last note just stops abruptly. And that's because I'm just looping this 8-bar loop. Again, you should not do that if you want to make a full song instead of just a beat. So what we're going to do is I'm going to highlight 8 bars instead of just 4, and I'm going to do Command J. And that is going to consolidate whatever I'm highlighting. And now we have these 8 bars, so now we can just copy all of this, paste it right here, because we do want to duplicate it, but now I can extend this note out. And then maybe this in note, it just stops here. Now it's time to throw in an EQ. This is EQ8. This is a very fancy EQ. And basically all it is sound is frequency. You need to get that into your noggin. Sound is frequency. The lower the frequency, the lower the sound. The higher the frequency, the higher pitched the sound. So if we solo this melody, so if we move this melody up a few octaves, first of all, it doesn't sound good, but let's look at the EQ. Most of the sound is coming from these very high frequencies up here. But if we move it back to where it was, now the frequency is down here. So that's basically how an EQ works, is that you can actually carve out frequencies. So if we want to remove some of the lows in this and just have it be like this airy little melody, then we can remove some of those mid frequencies. But since there's not a lot of information over there, we don't want to do that. But we do want to remove the frequencies below 100. So this is usually where your bass is going to sit. You don't want a melody around here. So I would say 90% of the time, add a high pass filter, which basically means all of the high frequencies can pass through, and move it up to around 150. I'm going to move this even higher though. And then I'm also going to add a low pass filter, which is going to say everything under this can pass through, but everything over it, we're going to cut it. And how cool is that? It's now got this little muffled underwater sound because we're only soloing these frequencies right here. Another trick to send a melody to the back is using reverb. So let's go to our audio effects, type in reverb, and what are we feeling? Concert hall, let's give it a shot. That's pretty cool. Let's unsolo it. I like this, but it sounds just a little bit too long. So I'm going to click on this decay, and instead of 2.4 seconds, let's make it around like 1.5. And And let's also lower this pre-delay, which is basically just pushing the reverb in general to the right. And let's make that a little bit shorter. All right, I like that a lot, but it's all just reverb. I kind of want some of that dry signal to poke through. So let's lower this to around 50. I love that. That sounds really cool. And I think I'm going to even lower it a little bit more because, again, there is going to be a vocalist on the beat. That is my main goal, is to get someone to sing on this beat, which this beat will be available to purchase through my mobile beats on my store. So just letting you know, if you want to sing on it, you can. But there is going to be a vocalist on this song. I want them to sing on this. I want their vocals to be the main melody. Another cool trick to kind of send it to the back is the main vocals are going to be right down the middle of your headphones, because usually main vocals are just right down the middle. So to give more room for that vocalist right down the middle, we can add an auto pan, which is going to be moving this melody left and right. So that main vocalist will be right down the middle, and then our melody is going to be moving on the left and the right, giving a little bit more space in that middle. That's maybe a little bit too much though. I love that. That is really cool. So let's go ahead and rename this reverb. Rename these chords. Wait, let's call this melody, not reverb. And I like this kind of green. Let's go ahead and do that. Green and purple don't go well together. Let's do yellow. All right, and I think the melody will be in the chorus, so let's go ahead and do that. And then let's go ahead and do this. And why not, while we're here, just arrange the full song. So we're going to make this the second chorus. And I'll probably just end the song like that. So if you look down here, this is your time. Now, keep in mind, we are starting around the 7-second mark, but this is now a 3-minute song, and that's a song right there. Now, I think for a beat like this, I don't know if I want drums in the verse. So I'm going to go over to the chorus and add drums. So I'm going to add a MIDI track, and I'm going to add a drum rack. Now, this is going to allow us to program some drums, and I'm going to go over to my xole Bedroom Pop drum kit. Super excited to have launched this. I basically went through my drum kit volume 1. I changed all of those sounds, updated them all with the knowledge of mixing that I have today, and I added some new sounds, some actual real drum sounds, and I think this is just the best bedroom pop drum kit out. It's definitely a subjective opinion, but I think it is. First thing let's add is a kick. Now, what kind of kick do we want? Let's press play. Editor xole here. I forgot to mention, you don't have to buy this drum kit. You can just find free drum kits online. I'm just using this drum kit because it's mine, and I do think it suits well with bedroom pop. But again, you can just type in free drum kit online, or you can just use Ableton stock drum sounds. Back to the video. I kind of like this hit kick, so let's go ahead and throw that in here. Now let's go over to the snares. I'm envisioning just a lo-fi, very buried snare, so I like this. I like the buried snare. And then now I'm envisioning a more softer hi-hat. I do like this open hat. We'll use that, but we still want a hi-hat. I think this pitch hat's going to work nicely. I like that. All right, so we now have 5 drum sounds, so we can go ahead and insert a MIDI selection, Command-Shift-M. This is a little bit hard to add these notes with the grid being this narrow, so let's go ahead and click narrow, widen it a little bit. Got our snares down. And then let's add the hi-hat. I think that's a little bit too fast. This song's a little bit slower. I like that, but a little technique. Second hi-hat, always make it a little bit quieter. That'll give it a little bit more groove to the song. And then let's also add this crash right here. Now that's very loud, so let's lower that. All right, I like these drums. Let's see if another hi-hat works better. Just replacing them like that, drag the new hi-hat into the old one. And we can also just lower the volume over here. I like that. Maybe pitch it down a little bit. I like that. And then also let's throw in an EQ. And like we were saying, There's high frequencies and low frequencies, and I think if we muffle this hi-hat a little bit, it'll sound nice. So let's add a low pass filter. That's real nice. I like those drums a lot, so let's copy those. Let's paste them over here. And there we go, guys. We basically have a beat. Congratulations. This is basically a beat. Yeah, we need bass. Yeah, we need a few other little sauce elements of the song, but this could be considered a beat, so congratulations. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these drums and I'm going to paste them over in the verse. So this is how the song is going to sound. These are all of our drums together. We've got the crash, we've got the kick, we've got the snare. We actually don't have an open hat. So now that I say that. Let's add it right here. And then let's also muffle that open hat just a little bit as well. See how that sounds? Yeah, I like that. So, these are all of our drums. And it's too much. You want the verse to be a little bit more bare, a little bit more open, and then once the chorus comes, that's when you add most of the elements. So if that's the case, let's remove these crashes. Let's remove this open hat. Let's remove a lot of these kicks, just making the kick pattern a lot simpler. I say maybe also just remove those hi-hats. So now this is going to be the verse drums. And then let's also move it on the second half of the verse. The first half has no drums, then they come in right here. And this is also a fun trick as well. Let's add an EQ, let's make it low pass, and let's take out actually a lot of those high frequencies. There we go. Now it just everything sounds muffled. And then once the chorus comes in, we want those high frequencies back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to automate. Now, automation is basically just telling your computer, I want you to make these changes throughout the song. And it's going to copy that into the song. So now I'm going to click on the low pass knob. I'm going to click on the frequency right here, and I'm going to press A. A is going to pull up your automation. So now you have these cool little automation lines. As you can see, it says 1.07 kilohertz. And that's where our frequency is. And as you can see, I'm moving it right there. So I want the frequency to be at 1.07 in the verse. And then in the choruses, I want it to be all the way up to 22, which is allowing all of those highs back into the song. So now if we press play, you're going to see this is going to move without me having to even move it myself. I love that. So let's go ahead and copy that, paste it right here, and now it's going to be doing the same thing over here. Do you ever wear a hat and just the top of your head hurts so bad? That was happening. So we're going to now go hatless for the remainder of this video. Sorry for the hat hair. All right, guys, congratulations. We have completed step 1 through 3, and we have a pretty cool sound and beat. This is sounding more and more like a song the more we work on it. And now we're going to move on to step 4, which is bass. So let's go ahead, insert MIDI track. Quick interruption, it is Editor Xole again. If you haven't already, could you hit that subscribe button and that like button? As a new channel, this is the first video on the channel. Doing that really does help, so I appreciate y'all. And let's choose a cool bass. Alright, all of these basses are just way too distorted. So I'm going to make a bass myself by going to my synth leads. There we go. Let's click on this faded keys, and we're going to be making a bass ourselves. So I could either just do, Command-Shift-M and choose the root note of the chords that we made, or I can make it simpler for myself. And I can actually hold down Option and drag this down. You know what? There's a beauty to making music, because sometimes you do something and you weren't planning on it happening, and it just happens, and you're like, hey, This sounds good. Now, I was planning on making a bass here, but I like how these chords sound, so let's mix them with the regular chords, see how that sounds. I like that. So let's make them a little bit quieter, -5. Let's call it second chords. And let's just go ahead and duplicate this out like that. Copy, paste, paste. So I wasn't planning on adding those, but now our chorus sounds a little bit beefier, and that's step 5, is adding the sauce, adding random things into your songs. You can tell that chorus just sounds a little bit beefier because we now have more chords in there. But now let's make that bass. So hold down Option, drag it down here. And the first note is A, second note is C, third note is 2, 1. There we go. So we can delete these, delete these, delete these, delete these. Now we have what are called the root notes. So now we have a bass. Let's solo it. Okay, we don't have our instrument. Throw in faded keys. Okay, that doesn't sound like a bass. It's a little bit too high for a bass. So we're going to be Command A, select all the notes, down, down. It's a little bit too low, up 1. I like that. I actually don't know. I don't think it's low enough. So let's try to find another instrument. I like that. There we go. There's our bass. Copy, paste into the choruses, and voila. Now our chorus sounds a lot more full, a lot fuller than the verses. Congratulations, you have completed step 4 of making a song. Now we're on to step 5, which we've already kind of tapped on by adding these new chords. But another part of the sauce is adding transitions, making the song feel like a song. And a great way to add transitions is by A, adding crashes, but also by adding risers, which are basically the opposite of crashes. So let's go to my bedroom pop drum kit. You can snag this on my store. That could also work though. Let's try this dash one. Let's double click the warp just so it's where it should be lengthwise. And let's see what this sounds like. Let's make it very quiet, almost inaudible, but just as a feel thing, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, let's try this fast riser instead. I like that. So that could work if we add maybe some reverb. So let's just copy the same reverb we have on the melody, paste it in. And that's a nice trick you should definitely employ in your beats is if you have reverb on one track, copy and paste it on another track that you're trying to add reverb on, and it'll make the whole beat just sound a little bit more like it's in one place, a little bit more cohesive. So I like that. Let's make it a little bit louder. Another way to add some sauce is to add perks. And this is a great technique for bedroom pop music, is just adding little, like we could add a snap maybe. So that's very loud, but let's go ahead and grab our reverb and also this EQ, paste it into this tom. Now this tom's gonna have some lower frequencies, so let's bring those in, but I actually don't like that. That's music. You try something out, you give it a shot, don't like it, take it out. This might be what we're looking for right here. That's exactly what we're looking for. Again, guys, if you don't like it, don't force it into the song. Just take it out, and I guarantee you'll find some that you like better. Maybe in the choruses, we also add some snaps. I like that a lot. So let's copy all of these little sauce effects, paste them into our second chorus, and there we have it, guys. This is a full beat. Yeah, guys, I really hope this tutorial just helps get the ball moving for you. It helps you get into the flow of making whole songs and not just making simple beats. And I really love I just really love teaching, and that's really why I made this channel. And I really want to showcase how simple making music can be. We just make it a little bit too complicated every time we sit down in front of our computer, and it makes it a little bit difficult to, even start or finish a beat. So again, I hope this helps out. Be sure to subscribe. A subscribe would be very appreciated. Let's get this XoleMates Academy channel blown up. Let's just have a bunch of different tutorials. Let's make it the hub for making art, making creativity. Again, this beat is available on my store on Mobile Beats. If you want to sing on it, you can. I encourage you, if you do, be sure to tag me on Instagram. I'd love to hear what you do to this song. And yeah, the cool thing about the Mobile Beats is that not only will you be getting just the beat audio, but you'll also be getting all the stems. So let's say, you're singing and you don't really like having the drums right here in the verse. You can just go, bam, no drums in the verse. And let's say you want to take this melody out in the chorus, you can just go, bam. No melody in the chorus. You basically can make the beat into your own. That is the point of the Mobile Beats, is to not just give you a beat, but to help you make a song. Also, my bedroom pop drum kit. Definitely check it out if you like this kind of genre, if you like these sounds. I think they're the best for chill little beats like this. So, XoleMates for life. Keep making music. I'm so excited for this channel. Peace out.